Coming up on the Buckeye Guard, Guard members sync with emergency response agencies, the 179th Airlift Wing tests its readiness, and the Ohio National Guard partners with the Ohio Department of Health.
The Ohio National Guard hosted this quarter's Vigilant Guard 19 to bring together National Guard, local first responders, and state and federal agencies to conduct training on disaster response.
We are looking at things proactively, and we're trying to test ourselves and think ahead and be creative with the things that could occur, and then to make sure that the connectivity is there throughout government, throughout all the agencies, that we can know where our vulnerabilities are and we can get after them well ahead of time and before an event actually happens to the state of Ohio.
So Vigilant Guard is an exercise program, like I said, that is at U.S. Northcom, but it is funded through National Guard Bureau. All of the military members that are working at Northcom are activated National Guard troops. They're National Guard soldiers that are in a state capacity that are brought on federal orders to work in the Vigilant Guard branch.
The Ohio Fire Academy has about 110 acres of training area available. One of our goals was to ensure that the resources like the train derailment prop function well. Some of our propane props that we have are available for the live fire training scenarios.
So we're into a position where they get the practice, but not only just the practice within their teams, but they get the practice with each other. That is so very, very important for these catastrophic incidents that we run across, either natural or man-made. Building partnerships is by far the best thing that we can do with these things. It gives us an opportunity to work with each other.
This Vigilant Guard is the largest exercise of its kind, bringing together government agencies and leaders on every level in order to complete the mission, from search and rescue to medical triage and decontamination.
Just enhances our level of readiness. We're able to experiment a little bit, if you will, and work with different practices like shortening decontamination lanes, seeing how one lane works versus 2 lanes.
It shows how the big picture, how everything comes together. It's as realistic as we could possibly make it in showing how the Guard works with these other civilian agencies and state and local agencies.
One location Guardsmen trained at was the Wright State University's Calamityville, a 54-acre site that sets the scene of a major disaster that challenges military and first responders to work together and bridge communication gaps.
The state of Ohio deserves a lot of credit for putting something this grand scale together and being able to successfully enact a multi-jurisdictional, multi-agency response that brings us all together and allows us to understand a little bit better about our own capabilities and how we would integrate with some of our response partners if we're called upon to do so in the future.
The wing readiness exercise we did this past weekend is an opportunity for us to test and get data on the wing's overall readiness to go and deploy to a foreign location and perform air mobility, which is airlift, delivering cargo or supplies to our sister services or coalition forces against a near-peer adversary, so at a high level of a potential conflict.
We have 2 defensive fortified positions. We have an external response team, and our job is to protect the installation and send out the response team in case of any threat. The importance is that we maintain our skills so that if we ever get into that situation, having practiced that situation multiple times is going to let us know immediately what we have to do instead of having to think about it beforehand. That way, it's almost like a natural reaction, like you learn how to ride a bike, you'll continue to remember that. Just keep our skills fresh so that way if we come into contact, we know exactly what we're doing and we can take care of it.
The Air National Guard is obviously here every day to support the state of Ohio and its citizens, but in our larger role, we have to perform missions for the Air Force and the nation as a whole. So what the Wing Inspector General does is it devises inspections and exercises to test that capability, to make sure that we are indeed ready to do those things, to ensure our success and make sure that we're always improving. So this is really critically important for us, just doubling down and ensuring that we are ready for those missions if called.
We are preparing to do our job, our mission, while in a challenged chemical environment, amongst other things. So our near peers have been known to use chemical weapons, and if we're going to take them on, if you will, we are going to have to be prepared to be able to do our jobs in a challenged environment. It's hard enough to do your job and launch and recover and generate air power as it is, including all the sport activities that come with it. But to be able to do it while in chem gear and potentially while in the desert and while in all that heat, it's very challenging. So the first time you do it can't be while you're deployed. It has to be at home station where you feel a little bit more relaxed, yet we're still challenged. Two of our priorities, one is airmen. We take care of airmen, and I believe that preparing them to do the job in a challenged environment is taking care of airmen. And two is that we're challenged that we have to always be ready. You can't be ready to deploy and go do your mission, which is to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and all free people around the world, without being prepared to do your mission, while in a challenged environment, chemical warfare and the like. I've had the opportunity over my career to swear a lot of people in, and when the parents are there, I always tell that airman, because they're an airman after they swear in, I always tell that airman's parents that I will take care of. We will take care of your son or your daughter. And one of the reasons why I say that is part of what we're doing now, to make sure they're ready, so if we do have to fly, fight, and win in a challenged environment, that they will come home alive.
So today is the live fire exercise for Tobruq Legacy 2019. It's the culmination of a preparatory period, a live exercise, and now with the combined live fire between ourselves and about a dozen other nations. Our battery has participated in Tobruq Legacy throughout as one of the participating countries. And then today we executed a Stinger live fire. We've completed our day live fire thus far, and we have a night live fire going on this evening. We as a battery, in a matter of a week, we're able to integrate fully with our allies and provide lethal fires to defend friendly airspace. And we can do it without prior planning. We can do it without having to stumble our way through it. We can show up lethally and effectively defending our friendly airspace.
I was one of the gunners with Soldier Corporal Malk. We did a simultaneous fire, as in two outlaws were out there at once, and we both fired at both of them at the same time. I'd say it's pretty cool. I mean, it's an active flying target, so even when I was a tanker, the best thing we had as things to shoot at was just a moving square box. So having something actually flying around in the air that you have to track and engage is a lot better than that.
Today's exercise was firing with the ETAC man pads, which is Man Portable Air Defense System. That's a new piece of equipment that allows the gunner to see the tracks from the radar, and also a thermal sight for the outlaw. It is really cool to be part of a unit with leadership and soldiers that want to be part of kind of the frontier of where the air defense is going.
The Ohio National Guard participated in the 2019 GuardCare in Tuscarawas County.
GuardCare is a partnership between the Ohio National Guard and the Ohio Department of Health in order to provide free services to the communities of Ohio. Public can expect to receive vital services, an assessment, patient overview, EKG, vision, hearing screenings. They can expect lab screenings where they'll draw blood. They'll expect immunizations.
The Ohio Army and Air Guard provided free health care to 551 attendees in 2 days.
Everybody's been friendly and helpful, and yeah, it's been a great experience. This is maybe the first experience I've had interacting with the National Guard. For me, it's a service that I just happened to need it because of my situation, but I noticed while I was in there today, I saw elderly people, I saw people with young kids, I saw people maybe in their mid-40s that were getting services, so I mean, it's clearly very needed.
I'm seeing how happy people are coming out. We're impacting these people's lives in a way that doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it is to them. It's probably the most proud I felt being in the Guard.
These are people who deploy, They lead in some of the most challenging environments and situations that we could put young people into, and to bring those skills and capabilities, those values, those characteristics back to the community. Nobody else can do that.
To see more about the Ohio National Guard, go to ong.ohio.gov or follow us on Facebook and Twitter.